Right, everybody, welcome back to Talks with Finthentic. Here we are again, myself, my business associate, Andreas, and we have our first guest of many. I'm very pleased to have a friend and also a fellow professional in the industry, Vahab Hasiri, here with us.
Yeah. Hi, Andreas. Hi, Alex. Glad to be
Hello,
here.
Vahab.
Thanks
Glad
for
to have you, man.
joining us, Vahab. So today we have something a little bit special, a little bit different from the just commentary on the market and what's currently going on. We have someone here who I think we've been in the industry kind of more or less the same amount of time. A fellow, how can I say, business professional that I think has the same path, like also involved in the sales side, involved in the commercial business development side of his product, which he was at. He will tell us more about that. So, Vahab, to begin with, you've been in the industry, I think 5-6 years, something like that.
Yes, 5 years, 2017, I joined the company, my previous company, Tools for Brokers, in St. Petersburg, Russia, and then moved to Cyprus. Past 4 years, I've been in Limassol, and my days are ending in a couple of weeks, actually, here as well.
Right. Tell us, before we go to the end, tell us how you got into the industry. I know you were doing some insurance sales back at home. So like myself, it was a change of line. How did that come up? Was it out of interest? Was it headhunting?
Yeah. So basically, I studied my bachelor's degree in Iran. I was doing insurance. I was doing shipping. So basically, I was in sales as long as I remember. And then I went to Russia when I got my full scholarship for my master's degree. And then on the second year that I was studying my master's, I joined the company. I was looking for jobs over there. And entering the industry, it is a very interesting part because it was always on my mind to find a job in finance. I was always like eager to find a job in investing, trading, financial market, everything that is related. And for a long time, I was researching what is Forex, how everything works in the market, and so on. And I was lucky enough to found the guys back in St. Petersburg and join the company as well, which brought me here. And during the past 5 years, I learned great amount of knowledge and experience from everyone in this industry.
So you started at Tools for Brokers. Obviously, everyone knows Tools for Brokers. Andreas was, in a way, competing. Andreas, where were you? Which great competitor were you at?
At the time, I was in Prime XM. And yes, basically, yes, we were competing with Tools for Brokers, if you call it competition. I remember Vahab. We had many clients that were talking with Tools for Brokers, and they were mentioning you also. So, and also I'd like to add, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. You're one of the good. You're one of the good, my friend, and I feel very, very bad that you're going, but I feel very good also that you're going to expand yourself and go based on what you're doing now to get into better places and evolve, let's say. So I'm glad for you, very glad for you.
Agreed.
Thank you so much.
Agreed.
Appreciate it.
Vahab, can you share, before we look at what the industry was like then and where we are now, can you share for our listeners and our viewers, so Tools for Brokers started as a plugin provider, but also they're known as a bridge provider. So what is a bridge? Why does a broker need one?
Of course. Yes, company started as a plugin provider, but around the same time that I joined the company, we released the most advanced version of the bridge that they had, which is evolved significantly right now. So bridge is basically, as I call it, and I was selling it to a lot of companies, it's just the backbone of a brokerage company because every broker needs to connect their own platforms, trading platforms, to liquidity providers, to banks, and so on, to receive the data feed and also send the execution. So there are a lot of there are features inside the bridge that can help the broker to automate the process or minimize the risk and exposure and help give better service to their clients and traders. So that's why I call it the backbone of every broker. And it's an essential part for every broker who wants to start this business and who wants to have a proper and long-term basically company and offer best service possible. So deciding the best bridge, which bridge is the best for you as a brokerage is, I think, is one of the most important things that every broker should do.
Key decision.
I
So
have a few questions for you, Vahab.
Sure.
please.
Because up and down, we started at the same year.
Yeah.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see, a good question I would like to ask is, what was the difference with the clients you were talking at the beginning, and what was the difference with the clients you're talking now before you left?
Okay, that's a great question. Actually, I was thinking about this when I joined the company. I think a majority of the clients that we were like dealing with, because they were coming for the smaller plugins and so on, and we need to change the image of the company during the years. They were, let's call it, that they didn't have enough knowledge or experience about the industry, and industry wasn't regulated enough back in the day. If you remember, even before I joined the company, there was something called binary option and so on, which,
Wild West.
yes, thank God they all went away and the governments got involved, regulators got involved. And nowadays that we see that clients, traders, brokers are more educated about the industry. Everybody learning more, they know about regulation and how the quality increased. That's what I can say. Back in the day, the quality was lower. Now the conversations are more high level, like before I leave.
So even in the initial kind of research phase, you find that they're more educated.
Nowadays, yes, of course, it's a huge difference that I can see. Back in the day, it was some companies come in, they wanted to open, they wanted just to get some plugins for the process and so on, that they had no idea what they were doing. But nowadays, I see that people know. They try to learn before they start the company, especially the startups. And those who've been in this industry, so there's nothing to say. They already know everything about it. And people are learning more, educating themselves, and regularities are playing a big part in the industry nowadays, which is, I think, is amazing.
Do you think, like with this in mind, that people have become more, the general inquiries have become more sophisticated and people have a better understanding even before they start speaking with you or their platform provider or their LP?
Definitely.
Do you think that it is, with this knowledge in mind, it is easier to succeed? It is more difficult to succeed than it used to be? And if so, why?
It's a hard question. From one perspective, it's good. If you are experienced in the market, you want your market to grow as well. You want to grow yourself as a professional in any industry. And I think there is a level up going on over here. So if you want to succeed in this industry, you need to learn more, you need to push yourself more, educate yourself more, and all of that. So it's kind of going to be challenging, but in a good and positive way.
Yes. And then talking about regulation, so you made a very good point that regulation is massive. I mean, just everyone knows, just before you started 2016, we had the ESMA thing in Europe.
Yes.
It cut leverage. You have to classify your clients as, retail and professional, and it basically it did the opposite of what people wanted to do. It sent a lot of flow offshore. So with two offshore regulated entities, but nonetheless, it's different than a SISEC license. It's different than an FCA or an Australian ASIC. But what did you see over your career in terms of non-EU licensed brokers? Are there more starting up, or they're less? And then also, which geographies or clients coming to, and which regulations became popular over that period?
Well, that's a good question. Europe, basically, SISEC, FCA, and their the well-known regulations, they did a good job to protect their own clients in their own jurisdictions. But as you said, a lot of the companies that start right now or before, they go offshore, or from
Mm.
coming from certain jurisdictions that forex trading is even illegal in certain countries, but still there's a demand for it.
Mm.
So the point is that like the main thing that happens is that people come in, there's a demand, they want it, but at the same time, nobody is there to observe and see what's going on over here. So there's no regulation for those offshore entities, which creates sometime like the situation that is happening right now is because a lot of companies came, they wanted to earn quick money, they didn't care about the quality of the service, they didn't care about the investors' money and all those things.
Mm.
And they started with some, let's call it scam companies, and disappeared. But other companies got hurt, the ones that were like doing honest business for a long time. And right now we see it even with the fintech companies, platform providers, and technology providers, which is, we are hearing a lot of rumors, all of them should be regulated. So that's, I think, is the backlash of everything that happened a few years back and continuing to go this way. And how far would it go? I think we need to see.
It sounds like you may be worried a bit about over-regulation.
You can say that, but at the same time, there are other side of the coin, like the investors, who are the main part of the business, and traders. Those people should be protected too. Who's gonna protect them? Especially like if they are coming from certain Middle Eastern countries, let's say India or Pakistan, or Iran even, like nobody likes to work with Iranian clients, but there's a demand for those type of people who are trading, and they're all being onboarded on the offshore entities. But who's protecting their money? That's one side of it that should be basically managed in a better way. At the same time, yes, over-regulation might hurt businesses in short term, but in long term, I think it will have a positive effect.
A question comes in my mind now is that how would you think the market would have been if there were not offshore entities and there were only, let's say, EU license or any license that, let's say, a reputable offshore?
Yeah. So
because
in
let's
this
be honest,
scenario,
sorry, Vahab, just to
yes.
clarify something, like most of the entities, what do they do? I mean, let's be honest, we can address the elephant in the room. We're here to assist our viewers, correct? So most of the entities get an offshore entity like St. Vincent, Marshall Island, Vanuatu, and etc. And they have, like, say, the good regulation in the EU, or even an offshore one, which is Mauritius, Seychelles, and etc. So what my question, just to make it even more, let's say, detailed, is if there were not this type of regulations and only EU license regulation, would there be a difference? Would they, would ESMA have done, with ESMA, who did what they did in 2016?
Yes, that's an excellent question, actually, because the barrier to enter the market as a new startup is going to be way harder. You need more capital to enter, and you need to have proper regulation, go through certain filters, and so on, which actually is going to clean the market. You're going to have only like reputable people who are starting the company or businesses. So a lot of people is going to respect more the industry in that way. On the other hand, we see that there is still demand for that offshore businesses. There is still demand even from certain traders to have higher leverage. And some people are benefiting from it. So I don't think it's gonna be possible to only have EU regulation, but that would be a really ideal world, definitely. If there will be more regulation in the Middle East market, for example, UAE is doing a good job right now to a certain extent, but other countries follow, the governments follow, and they set up their own regulations and something like this, I think the industry is going to be filtered, and I think it's going to be, as I mentioned, it's going to be a level up for the industry in long term. Right? That's my opinion.
Yeah. Overall, it's better, right? Like you're saying, retail traders are protected. There are higher costs in the broker, operational and registration and whatnot. but also there's more taxes being paid, and I think it's just win-win. But then you have this thing that you cut out the startups, you cut out competition, and the cost to even just think about, let alone that you probably won't be fit and proper as SciSec beings, but the cost to come to Cyprus and start your own business. I mean, you need 7 figures at least to consider it for a year.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
so having that in mind, right? So we've discussed kind of the regulation side, coming closer to our product or products that we used to represent. Where do you see the industry is going? So you mentioned about what's happening. We're talking about meta quotes. You have a very clear picture of the past years of both business development and product development at the bridge, and then you also speak to the clients, the brokers. Where do you think this is going to go in the next 1 or 2 or 3 years?
As I see how everything is happening right now in the world with the economy and so on, I think there's going to be more regulation, even on the technology providers, fintech companies like the bridge providers, platform providers, and so on. That is something that's been rumored for the past few years. I've been hearing on the market, but it might happen eventually, that these companies that provide technology, they should they should have proper compliance, do their KYC before selling their products to certain companies and startups. So I think that would be the future. Maybe in a few years, definitely we will have something like this, hopefully, which of course is going to hurt them in business-wise and revenue-wise, but at the same time, it's going to protect a lot of other people.
Do you think we're going to see, with the current, let's say, platform challenges, do you think the future is going to, there will be one leader that will emerge and, kind of compete with the oldest platform and largest platform in the market? Do you think the future will be more multi-platform with brokers having their own product?
That might happen, definitely, but there were too many platforms that didn't get the attention that they needed. With recent changes, we see that they are becoming more aggressive to sell their platform right now. Different platforms on the market, they're trying to compete. It's a new energy and dynamic on the market. And they're more active, I think, happier, excited to sell their own product. And maybe other companies try to develop this platform-wise trading platform as well. And bigger brands on the market that we know them, they might invest to develop their own platforms if they haven't done it yet. So these things definitely might happen, and it will create a healthy competition in the market. That's definitely is a fact, because monopoly in the market is never good.
Yeah.
I totally agree, and I would like to add also, because we're talking about the trading platforms. I mean, Vahab, you in terms of brokers, you were selling also white labels. We are selling also white labels. So you've seen most of the trading platforms, and you can see the havoc that the current situation had brought to the market.
Yes.
Something I would like to ask regarding that is I'm not going to ask you which trading platform would you like to get involved, but what would you like to see in a trading platform now? Because just to add something, and I'll give the microphone to you, is that I don't know about you, but most of our clients are telling us we want this trading platform because our clients want that trading platform. They use the special EAs, the super EAs that can make millions in the market, etc.
Yes.
So basically that was the main selling point. So what do you see, or what would you see in 6 months? I mean, that's going to change inevitably now, but what would you see in a trading platform now that you want?
Okay. Personally speaking, because I was on the back-end side of the business, not on the trading side, because traders, they have certain demand. They want to have a nice platform. They want all the EAs to work perfectly for them, more options, and so on. But working on the back-end side, you want something that has a stable platform, proper coding, that you can do proper integration to it, and all those things. So these are two different things, that different roles, as we can see as well from the backend side of it, if you're selling technology or someone who's using that technology. So I think the platform that is coming should address both of these issues. One, that it would be stable enough, had proper coding, had proper support, proper development, and at the same time, it should be easy enough for traders to use it and implement their own technology to it, such as EAs, which is really important for a lot of brokers and especially retail brokers on the market.
Yeah, yeah. All right, something
On the dealing.
on the dealing side. Dealing, let me add a comment here. So we've looked at just about every platform on the market in the last 2 weeks, and MT was dealing wise is the best backend, right? It's a very dated platform. It's not as new as some of the competitors, even the good ones, but all the competitors, like backend wise, there's a lot of things lacking, and
Yes.
this is something to note, because now if everybody starts using new platforms, it's going to take a while for your dealers to become accustomed and not just how to do the basic stuff, but how to leverage the actual value that your new platform might bring. And I think now the bridge is going to become more important, because more dealers, they know the bridge that they're using. They're going to try to do more work on the bridge than in the platform backend.
100%. Yes, I absolutely agree with you.
Mhm. Right. That brings us, I guess you said in the beginning. Please, Andreas.
Yeah, I just want to add something what you said, Alex. Like, we need to also realize that more than 90% of the usage that dealer had was in a specific trading platform. So now it's where you're really going to see which dealers are really good at the jobs. I mean, now because they're going to have to use different trading platforms, and things are going to get really uncomfortable. I believe this is how I see it. So in the next couple of months, we're going to see a massive, let's say, disruption in the market through the dealing side, because most of the backends, as you said it yourself, dealers are not customized and not familiarized with that. So if you're a really good dealer, now is where you're going to show how good you are. This is my opinion anyway. So
yeah, it's not a good time to be complacent. Vahab, you said in the beginning when you joined us, you have actually left Tools for Brokers after your 5-6 years there. Do you want to share with us what the future looks like, from a fellow alumni that's kind of graduated from the FX CFD industry? What are your plans?
After 5 years, I think I need a rest. I'm relocating to Canada right now, so this relocation is extremely hard. I have to pack my stuff and go and prepare. So first, I need to relocate, settle down, relax a bit, and understand a new environment. So all those things are my priorities. At the same time, there are a lot of people kind enough to came to me with job offer from the industry and outside of the industry. So I have few options. I will try to sit down, think about each option and which way career-wise I want to go. And I will decide, I think, based on that. I was always passionate about strategic management. That was something that I was sometimes doing it on the side, helping other companies outside of the industry with their management, strategic planning, execution, business plans, and so on. Maybe I go towards that direction. At the same time, I love sales, the sales, the challenges and the thrill that you get from selling is something different. So at the same time, I don't know. I'm a bit confused at the moment, but once I settle down in a new environment, I will definitely make a decision.
Perfect. Andreas, anything to add or get out of Vahab before he leaves for Canada?
Yes, a couple of things actually. First of all, Vahab, you have the experience of moving countries, and now you're going to a country that I'm sure you've done your research, knowing the little I know about you. You've done your research, you know what you need to do. You're very hard work, and I really appreciate that I've met you. I'm 100% sure you're going to succeed in your life. You're one of the goods, honestly. It's that I'm talking to you now, talk to many people, and Vahab, you're one of the goods, man. And I'm sure we're gonna talk again. I'm sure we're gonna meet again. You're a salesperson, so I'm sure one day we're gonna receive a message from you telling us I have this opportunity. And I wish you all the best. Literally wish you all the best, and I'm 100% sure you're gonna succeed, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andreas. Really, your kind words are like touching me. I'm blushing. I don't know. I'm lost for words. Really appreciate it. You're a professional as well, so I'm so honored to have the opportunity to meet you and Alex. Both of you had the pleasure to be friends with you guys. So thank you so much for your words.
What I liked about Vahab, and it's the same thing I like about Andreas, is that you know the product, you know, and if somebody would like to kind of follow your career path and get in the industry, I think that is paramount. It's unbelievable the amount of people that you talk to in the industry that have been representing the same product for many years, and very basic questions, you know, just simple API questions or features that you absolutely need to know it to be good at your job. That's the standard. It's not even the epitome, and you always had that. Like Andreas said earlier, we have in our prior employment where we were at a platform provider, we have kind of competed with you, offering your white labels and such. And I like it. It's been a pleasure. You know, it's a sport, and it's nice when the other guy's good.
Of course.
Right. I think that's a wrap.
That's actually a really important thing that you mentioned, because I want to add this as the last thing.
Yeah.
People should know their product before selling it, especially for the broker side. Normally, not people that are selling FX, trading, or investment, they don't have knowledge or experience about it. So maybe at some point, like North America, that we see it, everybody is licensed to be a financial advisor or so on. Maybe there should be something like that similar here as well for certain salespeople, especially those who are offering financial services and investment to traders. Maybe that would work in the industry in the long term, and it would be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah, education is always power. Vahab, thank you very much for joining us. We wish you all the best in Canada. When you're back in Cyprus, you know our numbers.
Yes,
don't be a stranger. And if we're in Canada, you can take us out for a cold Canadian beer.
Definitely. Thank you so much, guys. Alex, Andreas, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And once you're in Canada, in Toronto, I'm there. I'm going to take you out for beer, definitely.
100%. Thank you, my friend. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.